Hello again, wine friends, and welcome to another episode of Doc G's Wine and Spirits Review. As you can see, just by the color of the blue sky, I am a little bit in a different circumstance this week. Behind me, you'll see the blue skies above the Atlantic Ocean here on Hilton Head Island. So cheers and welcome to my wine and spirits review from Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. I decided to come on here today to do this review with you to prove to you that no matter where you travel, you too can find good wines. I'll confess I brought a couple of these along with me to be able to do this spot from here. But in my searches while I was here on the island, I actually came across a wine that I could not find anywhere in Pennsylvania. So I decided to put this spot together to be able to show you and share with you this wine. And the moral of the story is no matter where it is you travel, you should always try to seek out a place for good wines, good spirits, no matter where it is you go. I did not think here on South Carolina's Hilton Head Island that I would find some very interesting wines. I can tell you one thing for sure, this is not a place where we can really talk much about wineries, and there are some good bourbons in this area, some good gins, and some good distilleries, but I'm going to focus on 3 wines with you today. So welcome and join me here by the Atlantic, here in Hilton Head Island. Cheers. I have 3 wines to recommend for you today. A red, a white, and a rosé again, of course. So let me start out with the rosé that I'd like to share with you. The rosé that I want to share, or excuse me, let me start out with the white that I want to share with you today. It's the white here in the glass. Almost like a Sauvignon Blanc. It is a white wine, excuse my reach, and as these disappear, you will hopefully see the beautiful Atlantic Ocean behind you. This wine is called an arneis, and I apologize with the glare here if you can't see it. I'll post something about it. Arneis is a wine that comes from the Piedmont region of Italy. You can probably find some in Pennsylvania. This one you probably can't, since I buy this one at Moore Brothers in Wilmington, Delaware. So it's a wine that you definitely want to seek out. It's a crisp, white, northern Italian wine. It's known as the white Barolo. And again, the grape is called arneis. And the characteristic that makes this wine stand out is a little bit of the almond and nuttiness that you get on the finish when you have it. It pairs well with your classic fish, light cheeses, salads, and again, as I always say, it goes very well just in a glass. So when you have your chance, you can probably find yourself a good arneis somewhere in the $15 to $20 range, which is what I paid for this one from Delaware. Again, I'll post, it's spelled A-R-N-E-I-S, arneis, white Barolo from northern Italy in the Piedmont region. So let's move that one aside. Keep the glass here for a moment. And I'm going to save the one that I found here in South Carolina for last. So I'm going to jump to the red wine. We actually enjoyed this here with a meal. We bought some steaks here. And this wine is a wine called carmenére. Carmenére is a red grape that originates from the Bordeaux region in France, and it's used in the Bordeaux blends, the famous Bordeaux blends. Carmenére refers to the dark color, carmine, like a burgundy color. It's where the origin of the name of the grape. Now you will primarily get most of the world's production of Carmenére from Chile in South America. However, there is some good Carmenére also coming from the West Coast, primarily out of the Yakima Valley in Washington State. This is one from the Colchuga Valley in Chile, and it is comparable to, if you're looking for a wine to compare it to, it's comparable to Merlot. And it has a very, very floral nose. Very smooth tannin. It's also known for a little bit of spiciness, which hits you on the end of the palate. It's a very smooth, very easy drinking wine, and it goes well with your meats and your cheeses and all of those other things that your common red wines go for. It's best served around 50, 55 and higher, maybe even in the 65 range. You can chill it just a little bit, but Carmenére is a wonderful grape if you like Merlot. If you don't, it's not exactly like it. It might be a little bit like Cabernet Franc as well, but I would highly recommend you seek out a Carmenére from Chile. And this one specifically, this one called Carmen Gran Reserva 2017, happens to be available for all my PA friends at the PA Wine and Spirits. It's readily available. And I highly recommend, if you're looking for a little bit different experience with a red, go out and try this one. It is fantastic. So let's set that one aside and go to the wine that I found here in South Carolina. A little bit of a story behind this one. I have had this wine before. It's a wine called txakolina. Let me tell you a little bit about txakolina. Txakolina is a grape grown in, well, is the name of the wine. The grape is actually called Ondurabi Zuri, and there's the Ondurandi Belza is the red form of the grape, which obviously had to go into making this wine. But it is a wine grown in very small quantities in the Basque region. And if you're aware of where the Basque Country is, the Basque Country is nestled in the Pyrenees in the northeast part of Spain, and it borders on France. They kind of have their own language, a very interesting culture. I could go on and on about that, but my point here is today to tell you that there's a very interesting wine that comes from the Basque region, and that wine is txakolina. It comes in a white, and it comes in a red, or excuse me, it comes in this rosé, and it is very crisp as a white, very minerally, a little bit of saline. It's kind of floral. It might be a little bit, again, like a Sauvignon Blanc in terms like that, but it really is a very unique grape. And you can generally find it sometimes at PA Wine and Spirits. I have never found a txakolina rosé anywhere before, which is why I bought this here at a wine shop here on Hilton Head Island and wanted to share it with you. So if you take a close look at it, maybe here in the sun, you can see it's got a little bit of a salmon color. It's only 11% ABV, but I have to tell you, usually that means it's a little sweet, but this is bone dry. Very crisp. This is not your Provence rosé. It's not really typical of other rosés that I've had. If you closed your eyes and had a sip of it, it would probably, it drinks almost like a white wine, but it's got a little bit of apple on it. Very, very small hint of berry, but nothing like the big provincial rosés that I shared with you before. But as you can see in the glass, it's got a beautiful salmon color, and I would drink this one very, very chilled. Very crisp. Almost a little bit of effervescence, which is one of the characteristics of this wine. But that's the wine from the Basque Country. Let me move it out of the way so you can get a beautiful view here of the ocean and the beach behind me. So with that said, I'd also like to just put a little shout out to some of the other posts that I've put up there for you. For those of you that have read it, and I've seen quite a few of you did, you're welcome to join me and some other friends at Maple Springs Winery on October 2nd, October 9th, or October 10th. If you're interested in that, please contact me. I'd be more than happy to share the information with you. If you're interested in doing that, they really are looking for help. And I'm familiar with some of the wine staff there, and they've asked me to put a shout out to other people who may be interested in joining us for that experience. It really is a lot of fun. Get a little exercise. You get to see how grapes are pruned. You get to see them on the vine, which is really cool. They actually crush them and put them right into the vat as we're standing there that day, and they'll serve you some of their good wine and some light food for your efforts. And also I talked about the t-shirt that they would give you. So, and also I hope you tune in to the wine blogs that I've found. Whole world of great information out there. As a matter of fact, there's one that talks about this, not this particular bottle, but the whole concept of the txakolina rosé in that blog, and it'll be a little bit more informative for you. So I'll post all those things as I normally do for you in the other spots. So just wanted to give you a little hello, a little shout out, and say thank you for joining me. And go find yourself a bottle of txakolina, go find yourself a bottle of arneis, or maybe you want to find yourself a bottle of carmenére. And until we see you again, cheers and stay safe.